There are many miracles happening in the lungs. I would like to talk about just a few of those countless miracles. In our lungs, there are 300 million small air sacs called alveoli. The diameter of these alveoli is 0.25 millimeters. They are that small. However, when we combine and spread them out, they amount to an area equal to a large hall plus a living room, roughly 75 square meters. They are perfectly arranged in such a small place as our lungs. Moreover, because they are sacs filled with air, they must not collapse. In other words, their inside walls must not touch or stick to one another. However, when we exhale, it is possible for there to be a situation where they completely close and stick together, meaning they lose their function. To prevent this, Allah prepares a substance for the baby 1 month before his or her birth. Why 1 month before birth? Because the alveoli are not needed while in the womb. The baby does not perform the breathing we know of there. The baby does not use its lungs. All its needs are met through the umbilical cord. However, this baby is going to emerge into an environment, a world where he or she will need to use its lungs. Okay, let's now contemplate who might have done all this planning and who could not have done it. All of these things we have talked about are calculated. Who can calculate all this? The opening of those small sacs we call alveoli inside the lungs and the maintenance of their openness is necessary. So how will this be figured out? For this, a surfactant is needed. We have a substance called surfactant, which starts being secreted 1 month before birth. How did you know that, oh surfactant? I mean, the surfactant is not even a living being, let alone a conscious, sentient, intelligent being or a being that is mindful of us and compassionate to us. Can something lifeless have conscience or sentience? Can it see us? Can it hear us? Can it come to our aid? No, it can't. It cannot think like, okay, my human is going to need me, so I should start secreting right away. It cannot do that. It does not have the ability to do it. The baby will be born, so I will keep these lungs functional. Such a thing cannot be the work of the surfactant, the lungs, the baby, or the mother, so whose work can it be? Now we will contemplate this, and it starts to keep the alveoli open. In other words, the baby is not preparing for something it needs at that moment, but for a condition it will need 1 month later. Let's think, let's reflect. We have this amazing respiratory system that has such perfect defense mechanism. Epithelial cells are some of the simplest cells that cover our entire body, our skin. Epithelial cells also exist in our respiratory tracts. However, the epithelial cells in the respiratory tracts are different from those covering our skin. Why are they different? Because that is what is needed. Who calculated that necessity? Who thought about this? Who paid regard to this wisdom? The cilia are there instead of epithelial cells. These cilia are tiny hair-like structures that move continuously. They push up any microbes, dust, or harmful substances that enter our body. They do this with their movement that is a constant sweeping motion that is upwards. Imagine what would happen if it was reversed. What would we do if they confused their duties and lost their direction? They have no sight, no navigation. These tiny, mindless and unconscious little hairs perfectly push up everything harmful from the bottom of the lungs, from the bronchi, continuously. And not only that, along with this, there is a mucus structure, a sticky structure. This structure pulls, sticks, holds, and does not let go of all the harmful substances. Let's think of it this way. Imagine a bank. In the basement of the bank, all the treasure safes are full and a thief is coming, about to go downstairs. But such a defense system has been created that all the stairs are escalators moving upward. Moreover, they are covered with sticky tar. So the thief has almost no chance of going down to the basement. And moreover, there are phagocytes which act as security guards. So if someone were to throw themselves down, these guards would directly destroy them and swallow them. Allah has placed such magnificent protective systems for us, layer by layer. He protects our lungs, which are very sensitive, especially their lower parts, in this way. The binding of oxygen to hemoglobin. Now, in the red blood cells, which we call erythrocytes, there is something called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is what carries oxygen. This binding of the oxygen to the hemoglobin is crucial for transporting oxygen to all our cells. This binding must be so sensitive that it must both hold on to the oxygen tightly meaning it must not let go, because if it does, we would die from lack of oxygen, and also must be balanced in such a way that when the erythrocytes make it to the cell, they can easily release it for the cells to take it. It must maintain such a delicate balance. With all this, it is as if it were announcing, I have very delicate balances, and these balances that I have point to my Creator with its language of state. Hemoglobin holds the oxygen in that balance while carrying it and does not let it go. At the destination it reaches, it leaves that oxygen go, although it is so attached to it and needs it. It leaves it as if it were leaving something dear behind, as a kind of self-sacrifice for that cell to which it delivers the oxygen. In such a tremendous balance, it gives up the oxygen to the cell.